It's
Yeah, is today
9:15.
Wednesday?
Huh?
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
There we go.
You should put that blonde woman as yourself there. You should put your face
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, you should superimpose
Yeah,
Trixie
you
on
should
her.
superimpose it.
And she should be pointing at the ground for the wormhole, not in the air.
Yeah.
I think she's pointing at Mothman up in the corner.
Mothman?
Yeah, Mothman. Yeah. So everybody's been talking about Tim Burchett. I'll start out with that one. I'll play that clip first, and then I'm going to go into it because after that you'll you'll understand more what I'm talking.
Now go slow. Don't be going too
Yeah,
fast.
talk very slow.
Yeah, you know what I did this time? Instead of making a long reel, I cut it up and I got a bunch of little quick short ones. So it'll that way we can talk in between them a little bit.
Awesome.
So everybody knows about Tim, right? You guys have seen him all over the place. He's been going on about
congressman.
Yeah. Hybrids, hybrids. Hybrids is the same thing as a hybrid where hybrid is when they've inserted human DNA or alien DNA, vice versa, whatever, to come up with another person. I'll just do a quick disclaimer before I play him. So what they do with these people, and it's come out through the government, and they haven't come out like with, it's validated. I'll put it this way. They haven't like put stuff out in the news, but Gates has been talking about it. He's been talking about it. These people are placed into the CIA. They're placed into covert operations, black ops, even in the military for the elite, like sniper forces and stuff like that. So because they're very intuitive, because they carry both DNA, ancestry DNA, 23andMe, when they were doing all this stuff, the supposition is that they were looking for the lineage of these people because some of them weren't taken by the government. But these hybrid people are when you see about alien abductions, like in Dulce, where that is over by New Mexico and stuff, there's a lot of human genetic experiments that go on over there. And
that's why the Mexicans are short.
So that's why 23andMe and all this stuff was made. They say that your DNA was taken to do medical experiments, but I think a lot of that was doing more cloning than anything else because they need a clean stock to be able to do this, where they can trace the lineage to make a hybrid, so they're able to control them. So now I'm going to play Tim.
Being murdered is what they're afraid of. I think some of them truly are because of things they've seen. NASA saying, "Well, we don't have anything. We haven't studied this or whatever." And I've been in meetings with them where they've told me they've studied it and they have stuff that's classified that they can't share with the public. I think it's a big cover up. I think there's too many directions that it's going. I spoke to the president about it the other morning, a little bit about it, about just being forthcoming and bringing the stuff out. I was in a meeting this year and I was told that the president was on a need to know basis on some of this information. And I thought, man, y'all don't know Donald Trump like I know him, and a few of us know him, because that's not going to sit well with him. When I told him that, he goes, "What does that mean?" And I said, "Well, just that they're just completely arrogant, and that they don't think you should have that information." I would hope that would light that fire under him, but I know there's a lot of things going on in the Middle East and other places that he's trying to tackle right now.
So with all this hybrid program and everything, it goes way back a long time ago. And there was a guy named Phil Robinson, and he was a government contractor. He was put outside of Area 51, and they were supposed to go and drill down in and do some tunneling work. When they got into the tunneling work, he actually came across all these really tall people that were basically reptilian. And they had the laser weapons and everything. And this was in the 90s. And he would go around and do seminars and stuff. And he would talk about how he found all that underground stuff around Area 51. When he was with the military, they had military guards all the time doing this. When they broke through boring into that part of the tunnel, those things had laser guns, and they fried off his fingers. They split open his chest. And when he would do his seminars, he would show you the scars. He would show you his hands and everything. And when he got to a certain point in disclosure about getting really deep into it, They took them out. The government did. So all this stuff has validity. Now, you know who John Lear is. John Lear was from Learjet. He was back saying all this kind of stuff way back in the early 90s, late 80s and everything about this. So this has been going on for a long, long time, basically since Roswell, but it's been hitting more mainstream. So with these hybrids and hubreds, the abductions that are going on, they say, which I believe, are our own military disguising themselves and using reversed engineered technology. John Lear was really good on how he would talk about that. But remember that general that just disappeared and he worked on propulsion systems?
The one that, well, that's not the one that went hiking. That's a different one.
Mm-hmm. He's the one that went hiking. So the military knows all these propulsion systems. So it's not too far of a stretch to say it's our own military running a psyop on people so that you can't tell what's real and what's not. But I'm going to play this. And this woman found this diagram that this general did that explains the propulsion system. And it's only a minute long. And then I'll show you why I played this after that.
Look at this blueprint from General Neil McCasland. I'm going to break down this little pumpy thing. Look at the bottom left. You see where it says seed gas? You put a tiny bit of mercury gas into this tube. That's your fuel. You don't burn it. You just use it as a battery that lasts for weeks. Then comes the zap. You hit that gas with 20,000 volts and microwaves, literally the same tech in your kitchen. This turns that gas into a plasma. Think of it as a glowing electrified cloud of lightning trapped in a bottle. But here is the real secret. It's the shaker. See that green block? That's a piston, but it doesn't move up and down like a car engine. It just vibrates 10 to 30 times every single second. That vibration creates the squeeze. It crushes that lightning cloud so fast it hits 1500 degrees instantly. The machine then sucks that energy out, feeds it back into the start to keep that zap going, and gives you a massive surplus to run your entire house. This is a self-sustaining loop. It powers itself and everything you own. No grid, no coal, no oil, and he just randomly drew this as a comment reply to someone.
Now, he drew that was that general drew that system. The supposition is that he disappeared right before or right after the UFO disclosure. Now, you know how I always talk about plasma and how they were able to inject DNA into it to make it semi-intelligent so that it could carry information and everything. Uh-huh. So they're part of that. The military does use plasma. They can use it as a weapon. They can use it like for surveillance and a lot of things. So now I'm coming to the orbs. I'm bringing a whole circle here. So when you see the orbs up in the sky, none of them are really like a physical form. It's always like a cloud of a gas, more or less. And I got some videos I want to show you of orbs, but I'm going to start out with the one that my daughter saw this last night, and it was in her yard. And I'm going to put this up, and you can see plasma can change colors depending on how it's fed, like depending on what the energy system is. So a lot of them are green because of the mercury, but this is what she saw.
Explain that shit. This is what happens when you live in the sticks. Look at that, it just dropped big time.
So what she was telling me last night, after they filmed this part of it, it even turned red, but it would drop, it would go up. I've seen them too. I've seen that kind of stuff. And that when you see it and it kind of morphs a little bit like that and everything, it would be like a plasma. But the military uses that type of a plasma to cloak satellites, aircraft, whatever they're using like that. And there is, how do I want to say this? I can't prove it, but I believe Space Force was made for this particular purpose so that they're able to keep it outside of regular government control. Now, where's this one? what that was were red orbs that were shooting out of the pyramid. Now, when you look at plasma, is it this one? Oh, here's more.
Okay, another one showed up. I'm telling you guys, there's so many of these in the sky, and most people just mistake them as stars or planets or something, but or satellites, but they're blinking, and this, as you can see, is not a satellite. It's not Starlink. It's not from around here.
Now, do you notice how that it seems to change colors? It starts to change shape and everything. That would be like something that would be plasma. And it could be doing surveillance. It could be doing a lot of things. So you can't tell if it's from the military or if it's from something extraterrestrial or different dimensions. And what's this? This is another form of it that was seen, and this was in daylight, so you can really see it good.
Fenómeno, una nube negra en pleno cielo azul a la mañanita. Increíble, una nube extraña. Observen.
You notice how that one is real dense. And I think part of it's because of the gravity of the earth, because as it came down, closer to the water and everything, it would pick up moisture out of the water. So it wouldn't be real super clear plasma. But these are the type of orbs that have been seen all over the place. I've seen them myself. I've talked to George about this too. And Sean, remember when the New Jersey drone thing was going on? I sent you a film of one that I saw over here outside of my house. But they're all over the place, and you can even see them at.
Explain that shit. This is what happens when you live in the sticks.
What the fuck that is, y'all?
Sean, what the fuck that is? What is this?
I like that one. That's not a
like a
meteor because it's going up. It's not coming down.
Up? Oh,
Yeah, it was going up.
Oh, wow.
So all these things that are coming out now have a lot to do, what they say, like with the end times. If you go into Revelations and everything, it said that all the stars, what is that, a third of the stars would be wiped out of the sky. Well, if you were a real ancient person, you wouldn't have any way to describe any of this stuff. And I think that's what makes me think that this is more or less from another dimension or another star system. Or those people were actually able to prophesize what was our military would be doing now. But the metal that they use for some of the stuff, the metallurgist that disappeared, the thing she worked on, which is really important that ties into Iran, was a type of metal that's able to cloak military craft, satellites and stuff like that, but it only had a certain window that it would hold together and stay together. After a certain time, that metal would just start melting and it would come apart and come down in pieces. So a lot of the stuff people were seeing over the United States and different areas, they're supposing that was part of that stuff from the military that was doing surveillance that was coming down as in pieces, because a lot of them were green, which would be the alloy that they were using in that military stuff that she was working on. And part of why she disappeared was because she would be able to identify what that was, that it was part of satellite weaponry and not asteroids or meteors or whatever they're saying that they are. So all this stuff ties together and it ties together through war, it ties together through religion, and it ties together through astronomy. When those first started coming across the United States, NASA was really quick to come out and say, oh, those are meteors. Now they're saying they're not meteors, and they're being really quiet about it. So all this stuff is exploding on social media, but nobody's actually
Can you
addressing
play
it.
that video? Could you do it?
Yeah.
Professor, could you play that video? This is not AI, so.
All right, did you hear that trumpet sound? That trumpet, I think it goes along with this.
I hope it's getting it on the camera. I can't even see the screen. Holy shit! What in the hell? This is bizarre. You see that? See that cloud right there? See that bright spot? Now watch at the top in that little V where that bright spot is. Watch that bright spot jumping around. I can see that. What in the hell is going on?
Those sounds are heard all over the world all the time, and they're always associated with some type of a sky occurrence, whether it be a supposed UFO sighting or plasma or anything like that. So who's to say, is it our weaponry making that noise? We really don't know.
Well,
why
can I bring up one quick point? I know you went there. Remember, what was that movie? The one that had the satellite that made that sound. What was that movie? From the third kind or whatever.
yeah.
Encounters of the third kind.
Close encounters.
Right. So just think of what year that was done. Right. Just think of what year that was done. That was done in the 70s, correct, or something?
Yeah. Late 70s, I think.
So a lot of times, they say there's a lot of stuff that comes out in these movies that are preparing us for what's happening. So and they also said, as the word Trump is, like President Trump is one of the trumpets. They were talking about that. But the whole thing is all these sounds that they're saying now, they did that in a movie, right? They did that in a movie, that sound. And it's amazing how the spaceships or whatever they're doing, making these sounds now. So that means they must have had something already for them to get almost the same exact sound that they did in that movie from what they discovered at that space place there, that they got all the aliens out there. So
yeah, Wright Patterson is the one that has all the alien debris in the bodies and everything. But what you're talking about, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg was given access to classified information in order to do that movie, and that was soft disclosure, and that was based on an actual true story. They won't come out and say it, but that's where the information came from. And another one of them was what was the one that they? Oh shit, I can't think of the name. It was just a couple years ago, and it had Amy Adams in it, and the aliens were like gas balls with really long tentacles. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the movie. You know which one I'm talking about? Yeah, that
was it. Amy what? What was
Amy Adams? Amy Adams was in that movie. That was another disclosure movie, and that was one where the aliens were like a gas form with tentacles, and they came down, and they were able to show her through like time travel, basically the future of her life and everything. And the only way they were able to communicate was
Arrival.
Yeah, that's it. That one. Now that one was a soft disclosure movie too. And so they take directors for movies like that. And there are some of them, I know Spielberg for sure is one of them, and they give them that information, because if they came out all in one to tell everybody, like they say, it would bust religion. It would bust society. There would be so much chaos, because some people won't actually be able to comprehend it. and they will actually go crazy. So
Holy
there's
shit.
a lot.
So look at the stuff Stephen King comes out with, all these movies and stuff.
Stephen King was on acid when he was writing shit.
Stephen King's a-
I'm just
He's
saying
a
the movies that come out with it, with all these like these like It and From and all the stuff that like. Well, it's not just imagination; it's stuff that people get information.
Yeah, but
can some of these videos with the trumpet noise and all that stuff, could they be some type of psyop operations also? There's been talk about a psyop of make it like it's an alien invasion, right? Of the world. You heard about that, I'm sure. I don't know, but I'm just throwing that out there, because wouldn't be the first time governments have lied to people.
I'm telling you, I don't think so. I think the trumpet sounds are the technology when something goes wrong. And that's why they're not heard all the time. But I think it has something to do with the propulsion system. And that's just from things that I've read about it. But I can't be sure. But because the noise is so odd and it sounds something mechanical more than a horn to me. But if you believe in Revelation, that sound could be the prophecy of what John saw, but had no way of describing. Because I always bring this point up too. In Revelations, they talk about the wing things that come down and sting you. Why couldn't that be drones that are armed and shoot you instead of how he treats them as scorpions?
They're winged.
So you have to really, how do I want to say, you keep an open mind when you're looking at this stuff. I mean, Project Bluebeam has been said that that's going to happen. There's so much stuff that's out there, but if you start really digging into the scientific part of it, you'll find, I think, a good portion is our military doing some of it. And I think, and I think the other good portion.
Read the audible post.
What?
What's that?
Audible. They take it. Wait, I just saw it. Oh,
I have been the subject of a psyop. No.
No, let me tell you something. I'm positive.
CIA.
I'm positive Trixie's part alien.
Oh, Trixie's part alien?
You see, he says that to me all the time. He calls me part alien. But
Trixie's part alien and part CIA. I think she's a hybrid.
Yep.
But all the stuff has merit. So when you're looking at that, like all the meteors and everything coming down, don't just assume that it's the end of the world and everything. It could be our own military. They're not going to tell you, that that's space debris coming down. They just won't. They can't because it's classified. And yeah, it could be Satan deceiving to bring up, to do that too. But I don't know. I don't think so. I think I hate saying this, my opinion, but I think in my opinion, once you start really delving into the stuff, you can see part of what's military and then part what could actually be.
Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers I brought up yesterday: 45, 47. Add them up is 9/11. Are these signs, or this is like just coincidental, or
No, Marty, my eyes aren't going to go into a reptilian. Nope.
Yes, look how dark they are. We gotta watch. You gotta look at her eyes very close.
I got the crazy eyes going now.
Yeah. Plus, she's Rh negative. Rh negative is part alien.
Yeah, it's part
blood.
Scaly. You said she's very scaly, George.
She is.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff.
Cold. She is reptile. She's always cold, like a reptile. It's cold.
Yeah, but no, I just really like this subject, and you have to use discernment when you're looking at it. That's what
when you disappear.
This is why we call it.
Don't blame me when you disappear. Don't fucking blame me, everybody.
No, but this is why we call it wormhole, because nobody can really prove anything until there's hard disclosure on it, and so you wonder, and you have to.
Virginia, you're part of the Pentagon. It's like believing a Pentagon briefing, part of the truth. But what about?
You don't know which part is true.
No, you don't. But if you like the plasma stuff, that's all you can look at and find that anywhere and then just put the dots together. But like two atoms, they've always said time travel isn't true, that it can't be done. But they've already taken two atoms put them in two separate places, and they still react to each other, even though it's thousands and
What
thousands
about
of miles
the
away.
guy that
So
wrote the
that's
book
quantum
about Baron?
entanglement. What?
What about the guy that wrote the book about Baron?
Yeah.
Travel.
Yeah.
Was his name
like that.
Adam?
Baron, like Baron Trump.
No, was he Adam, the guy that wrote it?
Oh,
No, but like science has verified a lot of that, like what I was saying, like quantum entanglement. So that would be like where you have the two atoms that are so far apart, but one always will react to the other. They were able to
destroy Tesla.
Yeah. And like CERN. Now, I don't think CERN is doing what they say they're doing. I think CERN is opening up portals into different dimensions and busting the veil, because they were able to put one atom on the other side.
Starlight 17. What is that? Starlight 17. Remember that thing with the people going through that?
Mm-hmm. But
Stargate 17.
Yeah. But CERN, they use the god Shiva, the god of destruction. That's who is in front of the CERN building. And when they fire up CERN, they always do some kind of a ritual with Shiva. Now, why would you use the god of destruction if you were using CERN for scientific or good things? But there was even...
He only brought up Aston Forbes. Tricks, you should check them out.
Yeah. So CERN, I don't think CERN is what they say that it is. And if CERN ever blew up, half of Europe would be gone. You know, it would really just be gone because of the power that's contained in that thing. But if you look at a lot of different things, like in the caves in New Mexico and everything, there's drawings done with that red paint and everything. And if you look at some of them, they look exactly like the inside of CERN with all the structure and everything. And nobody was able to say what those were. But then now, within the last several years, people look at them and you can see the resemblance. So there was, there's a lot of truth to that.
That was a good point that was brought up about Stargate. It was supposed to be under a pyramid where they found the time traveling thing.
Well, that was like Gaddafi. Supposedly he found one of the Stargates, and that was part of why there was the Iraq War and why there was such a fight about it. That, and then that 12-foot giant that they found there. And that's been verified. That's been verified by a lot of people. There was a C-130 pilot who withheld part of the information to verify it was somebody else, and they both matched up. But it was a recon group went missing in Iraq, and they couldn't find them. It was either Iraq or Afghanistan. They sent a second group out to find them, and they found every one of them were dead. And then this thing was eating a U.S. soldier, and they killed it. And they took it on a pallet and they brought it back, and supposedly it weighed like 1 ton, and it had 6 fingers, 6 toes, it had 2 rows of teeth, red hair, white skin, and everything. And so people said they've seen those on the mountains. And if you look those things up, you'll see videos where people had like dash cams on their car and they're going down the highway in a mountain range, and you see this huge figure walking up on the crest of a mountain, and it's not Bigfoot. So that's Wormhole for today.
All right.
Oh, so wonderful. That
A lot in there.
This is Sasquatch. Yeah, well, I want to get into Dogman one time, and then we'll talk about that one too.
How about the Jersey Devil?
Yeah, the Jersey Devil. I know about that one too.
Yeah.
And the swamp skunk down in Florida. There's a lot of them.
They're among us.
Yeah, I saw your question there. Not there today because it's Wednesday. Sean.
Yeah. See, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, you know it's the Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. That's what.
That's been
that's
over.
That's like a Bigfoot, right? That's like a Bigfoot. Sasquatch?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Bigfoot, and a lot of people think those are multi-dimensional, and that's why you can't ever find a body, basically. But are they multi-dimensional, or do they just live underground? You really don't know.
Maybe it's Chewbacca from Star Wars.
Why wouldn't Chewbacca off of Star Wars be based on if it's soft disclosure, like Star Wars was supposed to be, that could be what it was.
Maybe. You never know.
You got to have an open mind. I mean, I look at everything with an open mind.
Yeah. I just found this is an alien spacecraft. I just found a piece on my lawn.
Oh, that's not. Now you're making fun.
That thing looks like it's got a couple screws loose.
It does.
So
27 of them. I took. That's the front of the bike.
Well, this is Sasquatch.
Usted quiere tener el secreto para durar más en la cama.
That's like
he
Sasquatch.
made his debut last night.
I know. I'm sorry.
Why'd you take off my alien thing for?
Wait a minute.
Talk about sensitivity.
Because you were talking about the bike, and we were talking about Wormhole. So go ahead. Jen.
That looks like an alien ship. That don't look like an alien ship. I thought that looked like an alien ship.
No, it looks like a pisser. You put one cheek on one side, one cheek on the other, and the holes in the middle.
You keep this shit up. No cheeks are going on that bike. How you like that one?
Last night, we've been mentioning for the last few days about the sparring match, the Twitter sparring match between Roger Stone and Laura Loomer. And I woke up in the middle of the night last night. I couldn't sleep. I was going to call George and be like, "Hey, you up?" But I didn't want to wake him up if he wasn't up. But I said, Roger and Laura need a 2-week ceasefire, just like Iran and United States. I said, we got much bigger problems. We need maximized pressure for the Save America Act, and we need to win the midterms. I said, being that you both support President Trump, we need all the help we can get. I think they really got to freaking, stop with the sparring. It's just like, it's almost like who's got more allegiance or, that kind of bullshit.
The problem is they want to be both right. That's what I mean. Roger Stone is a very smart man, and so is Laura. I mean, Luma with investigating everything. Yep. But I mean, they used to be tight. It doesn't matter.
She had a live show last night. I watched it. It came on like around 9:00 on Rumble, and she was talking about, I guess this Michigan Senate guy that's running.
Oh, so yeah, Sally Bali Balaboo.
Yeah, he's
Abdul El Sahid, Michigan Senate.
Yep. He's even said something to the fact of, if you think Medicare, if you have an issue with Medicare fraud, you should want to kill Rick Scott. Like, political violence. The Democrats, they own political violence. That's for sure.
Well, the reason why they brought up Rick Scott, he was a big thing with the medical fraud and shit and everything else. So a lot of money on that with that one. But the whole thing is, he would have been better than Toom.
Yeah,
Toom stopped everything. It's amazing how we, the people, have to suffer because we elect these assholes in there, and then they do what they want to do, not what. See, by right, many years ago, they used to come out when they had to do a bill or something like that. They would come out to the people and say, "Look, we have this bill," and they were talking about it. What do you think of it? And then they would go to the majority of the people here and bring it back to the House and make the vote on it. Not them. These hairs, they decide everything. They have no right to decide anything. They have no right to put all the fucking bills together. They should have every bill separately. Any bill, that should be a law. That's what they should bring.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
everybody looks at the sky. You know why a lot of people always look up at the sky, and it's beautiful to see, especially clear night and stars, because you're always wondering. And when you look up at the sky and the stars, it really takes your mind off of a lot of things because you're only concentrating about what's up there. The same thing with, what else does take them off your minds? And that's why there's a big gambling problem. When you go to the casinos, the only thing you do is concentrate on that machine. Nothing else. Or the card table. Nothing else. And the same thing with I'm not saying go to the casino.
Money.
The sky is the best. Well, I'm just saying the sky is the best to sit back and look at the sky and just think and look what's out there. And what was the thing was? The answer is out there, right? Isn't that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Trish, you don't tell George you can go on for hours. He'll extend the show.
I just read it.
He'll extend the show. Why don't we stay on until 11:30?
I could go on and on and on about that stuff. I really could. It's just so interesting to me. I know it's not interesting to everybody, but to me,
No,
Thanks,
everything's
that's it.
interesting.
That's correct, Mark. One bill at a time. But they'll never do that. Never do it. They'll never do anything that they're supposed to do. They can swear in our Constitution. They don't even know when they swear in the Constitution what the Constitution's about. Please, excellent. And that's what pisses me off about Alex Jones. Now he's put, let's invoke the 25th Amendment so we could take President Trump down. What is the problem with these people? They should have took Biden down. They should have took Obama down. They didn't do that shit.
Who's he trying to get back in their graces? That's what I want.
I don't know. But you know what it is? He gets a lot of people.
I think they're positioning themselves in case a midterm loss. And obviously, if it's a midterm loss, it's going to be anti-Trump. But I think they're looking to position themselves for a life without Trump.
I don't even think there's going to
Happy birthday, Brad. Happy birthday, Brad.
Happy birthday to you, Brad. Happy birthday, Brad. Brad is listening in the background. It's his birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
See,
birthday.
now look. See? What? How come you didn't bring a cupcake there, Trixie?
Because I was awful busy yesterday and last night, I think. That might
Happy birthday, Brad.
Listen,
today was my dad's birthday, too, so they shared.
You're an amazing woman.
How old's Brad today? Brad Ginger, tell us how old Brad is today for the chat.
Oh, shit. If I became president, let me tell you something. I get out there, the machine gun standing right there in front of the Capitol and shoot all them bastards. I'm going to get in trouble for that. But I'm just saying
that's straight on YouTube.
Yeah, George, what's the matter with you?
I'm only being sarcastic. Not going to happen.
Thank you for the disclaimer.
A lot of them are just useless pieces of shit. I mean, they're all for themselves instead of for the people. That's why half of these people would be hung by now. If the founding fathers were around, they would be.
Yeah, something would be changed.
Well, we could go into a wormhole about the founding fathers and the angelic being that was in there locked into the building while they were writing the Constitution and how General Washington had been visited. That would be a good wormhole Wednesday, too.
That's a good wormhole. Yeah, do that next Wednesday. That's a good one.
Oh,
what is that about?
Huh?
What?
You didn't know about that? There was an angelic being that was locked up into the Constitution Hall with them while they were writing.
It's a $64,000 question. How did the founding fathers know when they wrote the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence that we were going to go all through this bullshit at this time? They predicted the future. They knew exactly what was going to